How's it going, everyone? This is Jason Navarro. You're listening to Tongues Out Podcast, and let's just jump right into today's subject. So, essentially, just it's gonna be a whole bunch of like different bits. To start it off on a fun note. So every Sunday, I've been doing an RPG experience over the web. So essentially, like I have a group of friends. There's four of us total. So one of my friends is the DM, and the three of us are like in a party in this fantasy. And I'm a big nerd. I've enjoyed doing this kind of stuff for a long time now. And our session that we had today was literally the funniest thing ever. So we're playing a system called Fate Core, or it's like it uses Fate rules, but we're using Exalted. I don't know. It's a mixture of different systems, but the game has been fun. Essentially, my character is I built him as a ninja, a shape-shifting ninja that has the ability to shapeshift into whatever creature he consumes the blood of. And I know it sounds pretty dark, but it's fantasy. What can I say? And so we're in this session right now, and one of the other party members, he's like a pirate that's able to control the wind. So it makes sense for him to have a ship and be able to, you know, he's our captain pretty much. He can get us anywhere we need to go, because he's able to just blow the wind whenever we need to go wherever we want to go. And then my other friend is like pretty much the team brute. He's able to just be he's just a very strong and able to pretty much take a lot of damage from people. And so we're in the session right now where I don't even know why I'm describing this, because you guys are gonna be listening to this be like, what in the hell is this? So essentially we ended our session today with and normally we do them on Sundays, but we had to do it today because my friend actually had to work. The one that hosts the sessions, he had to work on Sunday, and so we went ahead and rescheduled it for today. Luckily, Labor Day weekend, so a lot of people had today off as well. And so we ended our session with essentially we're en route to capture a to capture a high profile target, a captain of a ship, and hold him for ransom. And we need to do it for like a quest line. And essentially, I was like, well, there's no limit to the creature I can shapeshift into. Why don't we go ahead and say that we captured a whale while we were waiting for this person, him and his fleet of ships to come towards us. And so we went ahead. I consumed the blood of so it has to be the blood from the heart of a creature. And so I gained the ability. So this is my crazy idea. So I gained the ability to shapeshift into a whale. And so the idea was like we only have one ship, and this person had one ship and two escort ships. And so my crazy idea was, why don't I shapeshift into a whale? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to ram into the like capital ship or like the captain's ship, create like a distraction, and then that gives us an opportunity to like sneak on board and capture this captain. And what essentially will happen is the goal is to throw this captain into the ocean, and then me as a whale, I'm going to eat the captain. And so we haven't had this session yet. We ended right before all of this. So the goal is to throw him in the water. I eat him. I shapeshift into him. It looks like I'm struggling in the water. It looks like I'm the captain. And essentially they'll bring me back on the ship, and or they'll like my party will take me hostage, and they'll think that like our party has this person hostage, but it's just me shapeshifted into this person. So as long as I consume the heart of any creature and drink its blood, I'm able to shapeshift into them. And I have memory of that, and I could just turn into them whenever I want. So that's why I kind of made my character as a ninja. So it just made a lot of sense. But then my friend Jacob, who's like the team brute, he was like, well, he's like a general. He was like, why don't I ride on your back, and then I'll sneak on board right when you ram into the ship. I'll sneak on board, and then I'll capture the captain and I'll throw him overboard. And I was like, that's a phenomenal idea. So we ended our session with my friend Jacob writing. So the pirate, the other friend Eric, he essentially is distracting the fleet of ships by shooting cannons at it, and then I'm stealthily swimming underwater as a whale, and my friend's holding on to me, and then I ram into the ship. I successfully ram into the ship because all of this is kind of based on a roll system. If you've never played RPGs before, a lot of these rely on like dice rolls, but this doesn't use like your traditional dice. Fate has like their own unique dice, but essentially they're 6-sided dice, and it's a very simplified system. It's super simple how it works. Luckily, I was successful to hit the ship as a whale. I made a hole inside of the ship, so right now the ship's taking on water. And my friend Jacob had to then make a successful roll to be able to swim into this hole, which he did. And now my friend Jacob is on the ship by himself, and everyone is going to the hole. I don't know why my friend Jacob went through the hole when he could have just like maybe climbed up top of the ship from like a ladder or something like that. But he went through the hole, and now the captain and all of their crew now see my friend Jacob on the ship, and now he's going to have to fight all these people by himself. And we'll have to determine next week how we're going to pursue this unique endeavor. But one of the things I love about RPG systems is like that one of the things that you just can't get out of video games is that as long as your mind can create things and create a creative scenario, and as long as it fits within the physics and the rules of the game itself, and as long as the game master or the dungeon master, GM or DM, whatever you want to call them, is okays whatever, the scenario you create, then you can come up with anything as long as it fits your character. And so the idea that I turned into a whale, rammed into a ship, and my friend, who's a general, rode on my back, swam through a hole, and now he's stuck on the ship with an angry crew. And then the goal is to throw the captain overboard so I could eat him, so I could transform into him, so that my team could take me hostage, even though making the crew on that ship think that they're holding their captain ransom, even though it's me, to then go ahead and pay their ransom towards us. And then I'm going to shapeshift into myself again, and then eliminate the crew. And then who knows what's going to happen? Honestly, that's the world of RPG. But just want to start on that note, on a positive note. And then I just want to give a sarcastic round of applause to everyone that went ahead and contributed to the spike in COVID cases we're probably going to see in the next week or so. I love seeing footage and photos from my home state of Florida, where it was literally packed with 1 billion people on the beach and then the bars. And then I heard that many of the places on the coast, especially where I grew up in, was super busy today. And a lot of those places claim that they follow like this social distancing rules, but it's not the point. It's like everyone knows that this thing is still going on, and there's plenty of Labor Day weekends to come up. And I know it's like the last weekend before the summer ends, but it's honestly like any other weekend. Most people are off of work anyways. So to use this crazy excuse like, oh yeah, like now I can go and be crazy this weekend. This weekend was no different than any other weekend. You could have honestly done that any weekend with just your small group of friends. But to those that wanted to reserve today to go out and congregate amongst a ton of people, I say thank you for keeping this pandemic going, because honestly, we were trending down and it was looking great. It was looking like eventually this virus itself was going to just disappear. Slowly but surely, people were following the rules, social distancing, or wearing masks, and only going out for essential reasons. And you could see on the CDC's website, it was trending down. Like the numbers were trending down. It was looking great. And now all of a sudden, like this is just going to spike up again, and it's going to be no different than when the summer started. And people did the exact same thing. They laxed. The numbers were starting to go down. People laxed, spiked up, and we had to deal with this nonsense for a while. And again, going down, and it boggles my mind that people just don't understand that if you just kind of like, if we all just stayed indoors for a month, didn't socialize with anyone for no reason, right? Sacrifice 1 month, 1 month, our lives would go back to normal. Honestly, the virus would disappear because the people that contracted the disease would be given the 14 to 21 days for the disease to kind of disappear out of their system, and the virus would just die. And the only people that would be capable of spreading it would be people that traveled to another area. And all we would do is just enforce like a travel restriction outside the US. You could travel as much as you want within the US, and then life would slowly but surely come back to normal. If every country did that, and every citizen in every country just did this, we would be able to go back to our like your work. You would be able to go back to your jobs if that's what you want to do. You'd be able to go back and see that girl or boy that you wanted to hang out with, your friends, your group of friends. You'd be able to, visit your grandparents if you care about that, and you think you can't visit them at the moment. You'd be able to visit your loved ones in the hospital, at the moment, because only one person at a time could go to the hospital, and some hospitals aren't even allowing that to happen unless you are a parent of a kid. And I don't know. It just boggles my mind that we just can't make this. Like, it might seem like a crazy sacrifice, but when you think of since March all the way up to September, all the sacrifices that we've made, all these small sacrifices, and added them up, together would probably amount to a larger sacrifice than just staying indoors for 30 days. And that was the goal initially, but no one could just do it. But anyways, just wanted to throw that out there. So thank you again, guys, for keeping this going into the winter, which is probably the worst period to have a pandemic like this. But, who knows? Maybe society will learn eventually. If not, then this virus will just weed out those people. What else did I want to talk about today? There was something else I wanted to talk about. Oh, Monopoly. Man, do I love me some Monopoly. We're on the subject of talking about games. I actually don't know why there's no great virtual Monopoly game going on right now, because I would love to get on some Monopoly and play with some friends, some good Monopoly, but there's just no good apps out there to like Monopoly apps. It kind of is, but they're not really. And I would love to just have Monopoly is like one of my games. I'm really good at it. But on the subject of Monopoly, actually, I recently subscribed to HBO Max. I'm not sure if I talked about it before. I'm literally subscribed to every single streaming service now. But one of the things I enjoy from HBO is that they really have good documentaries, a lot of good documentaries. And I was just cycling through documentaries, and I saw this one called McMillions. And I was like, McMillions, what is this about? This sounds interesting. And it was a docuseries, so it wasn't a documentary. I actually prefer docuseries over documentaries. When documentaries try to go over a lot of go into one subject but very thoroughly into it, it's hard to fit that into an hour and a half. Like, really, you require like the episodic stuff, like the the Jeffrey Epstein thing. Thought that was great as being episodic. I'm not even going to talk about like the other dark people that have their own episodic docuseries. There's a lot of them. Aaron Rodriguez. It was great watching that. O.J. Simpson's like kind of docuseries, kind of make-believe show series that he had. And just a lot of financial docuseries. I love watching financial docuseries. I just love watching docuseries, period. But this one was about the early 90s. So between 95, I think it was 1995 to 2001. It was in 1995, I think McDonald's started to do the Monopoly game. And I remember playing a ton of this Monopoly game when I was a kid. This was before I was a vegan, and this is when Happy Meals were a thing. And actually, I was older, so it was after Happy Meals. But Monopoly was the next thing. So McDonald's just knew how to hold on to the kids, honestly. So it went from Happy Meals to, as a teenager, the Monopoly thing was like one of my favorite things to do. So every year for like 2 months, they would have this game on where you would collect pieces from fries. And most people know about this. If you're from America, you've known about it. My wife actually didn't know this was a thing, but we just don't eat at McDonald's. But so essentially for anyone that's not from the States, which I do have some people that aren't from here. So every year or every couple years, McDonald's does this challenge where essentially every time you order fries, drinks, any kind of meal from McDonald's, they have game pieces on them, and you peel the pieces off of the packaging. And when you do, you can either be an instant winner and get like a free meal, like not free meal, but like a free burger, free fries, or whatever, or you get nothing. Well, you always get something. So you either get like a free something, or you get like one of the properties from the Monopoly board. And essentially, what happens is that you're supposed to collect all three or all two of the properties from the board, or all four. So I'm forgetting railroads and what else is there four of? Just railroads, right? Yeah, just railroads. Everything else is three. Then you have the two utilities. But if you collected any of the groups of whatever property, then essentially if you read what the property was the prize, you could get anything from a house to airplanes to $1 million, $2 million. And so there was a lot of different things that you could get. And um, a lot of people just played a ton of the Monopoly game. And it was fun to collect these pieces and try to see if you could win prizes. I never really got anything. I only ever got like free meals and stuff like that because you would always be very close. But anyways, the Stocky series was about the fact that the FBI had gotten wind of the fact that there was a possible scam going on with the Monopoly game during that time period. And what they ended up finding out was that everyone that won the $1 million prize, all of them between 1995 and 2001, almost all of them, I think all of them, were one individual was able to collect the boardwalk pieces and sell them off and essentially sold them to random people. And everyone that won them was part of a huge scam. And so the docuseries is kind of just going through like the operation and everything. And I was watching this like, oh my God, this is insane. Like you learn just how intense the manufacturing of the game is and how like it's regulated, super regulated, and how McDonald's didn't even know about this, like the scam that was going on. And it's just like it's fun to watch, honestly. Another docuseries that most people watch but I didn't watch was the one about the tiger guy. I forget the name of the docuseries, but it was on Netflix. It was like a popular one. I still have not watched it. It just seems so stupid. It seems like watching the atypical family from Florida kind of lifestyle. It just reminds me of that. And I grew up seeing a lot of those type of families anyways. So seeing a documentary about it just seemed kind of silly to me. Not to shit talk my home state, but I kind of enjoy shit talking it sometimes because some of the craziest and stupidest stories come from Florida. And some of the biggest of shenanigans come from my home state. Sorry, Florida, but it's just fact. But anyways, yeah. Oh, and to end a note on silly things that people do. I looked at the window today and it kind of seemed like a dreary day. And I was like, man, I didn't see on the forecast that it was supposed to be raining this weekend. And nope. Here in Las Vegas, we're getting impacted by the smoke from the fires in California. Sadly, California is always devastated by a ton of fires all the time. You can claim whatever you want to claim as the reasons why. But everyone that knows science knows the reasons, but we're not going to go into that subject right now. I don't want to get into a tangent, but yeah, just looking outside, you could see just how dreary of a day it looked. And it's because of the smoke. It's coming from California and it's hitting all of central and southern Nevada. And when you find out like why one of the fires was started, it just reminds me of the podcast I did a couple days ago. But essentially, there's a group of really stupid people. What they do is they do their gender reveal parties by exploding something that explodes the color, or like it explodes like particles of the color of the sex of the baby that they're gonna have. And essentially, I saw a story about this like 2 years ago or 1 year ago about someone in Arizona that did the same thing. They shot a rifle at a target, and the target exploded, and it gender revealed the baby's sex. And so I don't know exactly what this object was, but essentially it's the same idea. It was a box that exploded. I don't know how they ignited it. I don't know if they just manually did it or if they shot it as well. and it exploded, and now it started this fire that's destroyed almost 7,000 acres in California at the moment. And it makes me nod my head at just the level of intelligence that sarcasm that exists in society, and um, just how it just oh my god, I can't say this word right now. Permeates. Sorry, it permeates through all systems in this world, and our political systems, our companies, the people that manage local government, all of that, and then like your neighbor and all the crazy crime that exists. It's all just managed by really just people that just need to sit down, just go back to the fundamentals, open a book, spend some time learning, contribute to society, do some good. Stop doing stupid shit. Stop doing stupid stuff that affects so many people. It sucks to see people's lives turn upside down. Like, get into playing some Monopoly online. Go find an RPG session. Honestly, this stuff is really fun. Play some video games. Do anything that just keeps you indoors at the moment. There are so many fun things you could do indoors. Start your own podcast. Get into streaming. Get into, I don't know, do something. I've seen so many people invest so much money into remodeling their house the last 5 years. And that same group of people that have spent so much time and so much of their money, so much of their hard-earned money to remodel their house, and then to go and not ever spend any time inside their house just boggles my mind. It doesn't make any sense to me. I've seen so many people do it, like that they spent so much of their time them remodeling, like being in the house, remodeling and doing all this work, and then in essence, like never using it. That's like me building this computer, spending the 12 hours that it took me to build it after I bought all the components and put it together, and then never using it or selling it or doing anything with it, just letting it just sit there and absolutely do nothing. It just doesn't make sense to me. Why did you waste your life away? Why did you remodel your house? You're not even planning on selling it. What are you doing? This doesn't even make any sense. But anyways, then you know who you are. You know who you are. There are so many of you. I'm not even gonna name names, but there are a lot of you that I know that's what you're doing at the moment. And just enjoy the house that you spent your time working on, and find hobbies that you could do indoors. A lot of you have backyards. There's some of you have pools. I don't even have a pool. I wish I had a pool. That'd be so sick. I'd be in that thing all the time, swimming, doing laps, getting in some sun. I've never believed just sitting outside and getting a tan in your backyard and that's it. Like, I don't know. I just want this COVID thing to end. I want to be able to invite people to come see my daughter and witness her. And it just sucks that I can't invite anyone, not even my family, because I can't trust anyone to just stay indoors. Like, just stay indoors. Don't contribute to this epidemic, this pandemic, and let's just be more empathetic towards others. Like, it boggles my mind that we've justified making it a political subject so we can go ahead and do whatever we want. It's like how I perceive why some people choose to believe a religion, because I feel like they think like, oh, I could do whatever I want to do, and then as long as I pray to God and believe in God, then, in whatever form of religion you have, then, oh, I'm good. Like, I'll just go to heaven. So I'll do whatever bad things I want to do and all the things that I want to do, and say that Jesus passed for our sins as an example. And so that allows me to just go ahead and do whatever I want to do. And because, my sins have been forgiven. And as long as I love God and everything of that nature, that I could just do whatever I want. No, just fuck, dude. Don't do that. Anyways, this podcast has gone long enough on this subject. It was about to go down a silly hole, and we're just not going to go there. Just find something that you enjoy to do. Just do it indoors. There's so many different things. Play Among Us. That's a fun game right now. You can play it on your cell phone or on computer at the moment. It's like $5 on Steam. It's a fun game. Play it with a whole bunch of friends. You're going to hate your friends because it's going to get you to not trust your friends anymore. It's a fun game. Look up Among Us. But anyways, outside of that, thank you guys so much for your time. And I will catch you guys mañana for another Tongues Out podcast. Peace.